think my wife cheated on me, but I have no proof. We've been married less than a year, both in our mid-20s. She received concert tickets for Christmas, and naturally, I assumed I would be accompanying her. Nope. She decided to take a colleague because he is supposedly a massive fan of the band. She also mentioned he's gay. I was annoyed, but chose not to start an argument over it. She attended the concert, and they hung around near the band's bus after the show. The bassist from the band struck up a conversation with her, and she flirted with him. He asked if she planned to attend their New Year's Eve show 200 miles away. She said no, because she couldn't afford it. He offered to comp tickets if she came. She mentioned she wouldn't go alone. He suggested she could bring her friend. Now our New Year's Eve plans are ruined because there's no way I can join. She had joked before about having to sleep with the bassist for these tickets and VIP access. I did not find it amusing, so she brushed it off. Ultimately, this is her favorite band, and I didn't want her holding this over my head for the rest of our lives, so I let her make the choice herself. She decided to go with her friend from work, who she now claims she's only 80% sure is gay. She texted me on the long drive there, then when she got the tickets, there was silence. I texted her at midnight. She sent me a reworded reply. I didn't hear from her again. I called her at 11:30 the next morning, and she said she was waiting at the subway station to return to her hotel. She finally got home around 4:30 p.m. I asked her how it went. She said they partied all night, she took prescription drugs and drank a lot. She complained she wasted money on a hotel when she only slept in it for 2 hours. I asked how that was possible when she was at the subway at 11:30 a.m. She admitted she didn't use the hotel room at all and that she must have slept in the band's suite. She blamed her memory loss on a hangover. Fast forward a day or so. She stepped out of the shower and I noticed she had shaved her pubic hair. I asked her when she did it and she replied Friday. Here's the thing, my wife never shaves her pubic hair. When she does, it's a surprise for me. She left for work, and I discovered a package of Summer's Eve feminine wipes in her overnight bag. Here's the other thing. I've always thought she had an odor issue, but she's never done anything about it. This was a brand new pack, so why did she have them? So, what do you think? Is she cheating with the bassist or the guy from work? Should I confront her about it? This is a messed up situation for sure, but I should mention there's a reason we got married. She and I share an interest in many things, from music to gaming to nature to other nerdy stuff. Some people might consider us a couple that spends too much time together. Our sex life has cooled off a bit, but neither of us has been left wanting. Not sure if any of this changes things. I think I should clarify that she got the concert tickets as a Christmas gift. But the concert was not on Christmas. The first concert was on December 30th. The second was December 31st. I'm trying to avoid keywords that might lead her to this thread, so I won't name the band. It's not Nickelback, and it's definitely not Fish. She'll be home soon. Wish me luck. I sat her down last night for a talk. I asked her to explain the night to me so I could better understand what happened. They had tickets waiting at will call and were able to stand in the VIP section for the concert. The bar was open until about 2, at which point they were invited to the band's suite. The hotel provided her with free pajamas, so she wasn't wearing her dress when she went up there. It was a pretty large party with the bassist, guitarist, cellist from the opening band, and the entire road crew. She said her friend from work was hovering around her all night to the point of being annoying. She mentioned she dozed off on the living room floor, just like several others did. A colleague drove her around 11 and they headed to the subway. I inquired why she shaved, and she replied she was unsure. What if I ended up going swimming? She remarked, "Did you pack a bathing suit?" I questioned. No, not to mention my wife can't swim. She would be in danger in 6 feet of water without support. We enjoy hot tubs, though I still wouldn't have felt at ease with her in a hot tub full of strangers. I asked her about the Summer's Eve cleansing wipes. She acknowledged they were for feminine odor, but claimed she bought them during our last Walmart trip, which was right after Christmas. If that's accurate, she couldn't have anticipated she would be out without me on NYE. She said she hadn't even opened them. Upon inspecting the package again, I was certain it was still sealed. I requested her to look me in the eyes and swear that there was no kissing, cuddling, or any form of sexual contact. She did so, repeating those precise words. I also expressed to her how hurt I was by the entire situation. I told her that if she has tickets to an event and I want to go, she must take me. Regardless, if she's not ready to make that commitment, then she's not prepared for marriage. She was very defensive and used a lot of exaggeration in the conversation. You always this. I never that. The most injurious comment she made was that if I had been able to go on NYE, she thinks she wouldn't have had as much fun. I said that's a critical blow to our relationship that calls our marriage into question. She responded that I was being absurd. So I'm almost back to where I began, still uncertain if she was unfaithful. It's possible she misled me. There's no way for me to be certain. She's behaving quite normally at home, as if nothing transpired, still clueless about what to do. I'm going to leave this up for another day or so, then remove it so she doesn't discover it. Suggestions other than dump that lying cheating expletive would be appreciated. Last week, the bassist messaged my wife and asked her to attend a concert in a town 100 miles away on a weekday night. She wanted to go alone, and I brought up the events of New Year's Eve. She stopped speaking to me and gave me the silent treatment for 3 days. I left for a business trip over the weekend and stayed in contact with her daily. When I returned, we spent Valentine's Day together. Yesterday, I was on Reddit and noticed I had an order notification. I clicked on it only to realize that my wife was still signed in on my computer. She used her account for Gone Wild, which I knew about and supported, but I didn't expect her to be sending photos to guys via PM. I kept reading. One guy asked, "What's the wildest thing you've ever done?" And there it was. She responded with, "On NYE, I had my first threesome with a member of a famous 90s rock band and a friend." The first thing I did was consult a lawyer about my options. Then I confronted her about it, and she said it was only partially true. She claimed she exaggerated and that her friend is actually gay, and she and the bassist just made out and did oral things. That's when I left the apartment and went straight to the hospital to get tested for STDs. I returned several hours later, not believing anything she said. I told her to text the guy simply, "Did we have sex?" If he said no, I would believe her. She then admitted they did have sex. My entire life has been shattered. We were married for less than a year, and I invested my whole being into this 5-year relationship. I moved into the second bedroom and am now sleeping on a futon. Our lease goes until May. I just wanted to update Reddit since I know people rarely do that, and thank you for being there for me before. I'm in the South Jersey, Philly area and could use some love. She had an affair with 4 different men over the past 5 months. The first was a colleague she began sexting and sending racy photos to back in October. Then she encountered a random guy at a concert and kissed him. She saw him again when she was at a drive-in movie theater with a friend, where supposedly nothing happened beyond cuddling. She met up with him again at a gay club with some friends, and he expletive her from behind in the bathroom. He drunk texted her a month later. They argued and ceased contact after that. One evening in mid-December, I came home from work at 6 p.m., aware that she finished at 2 p.m. after a company Christmas party. Her pet bunny was out of its cage and hopping around the apartment. She was nowhere to be seen. Her car was in the parking lot, and her coat was draped over a chair. I called her phone, and it rang from. Now we will move towards the next story. Right, he's a creep. I'm glad he's gone. I turned to my friends again, and the two told me they'd help me get over him and set me up with someone normal. My neutral friend advised me again not to end my relationship like this, but I'm an idiot. I'm horrible. I'm a piece of shit, and I deserve everything I get. Every night this past month I've been thinking about him, and the more I think, the larger that pit in my stomach grows. It all blew up a week ago. I got extremely drunk and had that horrible realization hit me all at once. I lost the man I loved over nothing. Nothing. It was my fault, and I would never be with him again. I was sobbing hysterically and called both of my 2 friends who had encouraged me. I told them that I never wanted to see them again, and some other things I won't repeat here. I blocked them on everything. My other friend tried calling me, but I couldn't bear to talk to her. It was about 1 a.m. when I called him. He hadn't blocked me, so it went through. I begged him to take me back. I told him about what my friends had told me. I told him he wasn't a pervert and that I should never have mentioned it. I expressed my love for him more than anything and my trust in him, that he could do whatever he wished with any part of my body, and that I would never consider him some kind of creep because I know he's not like that. He eventually interrupted me. He told me that if I had been drinking, to please stop and get some rest. He sounded so sad, and it shattered my heart all over again. He tried calling me earlier tonight, but I didn't answer. I'm incredibly scared that he's going to tell me to just fuck off and leave him alone. I know I would deserve it. I deserve worse, but I can't let go. I love him so much. I need him. I just want him to hold me again, touch me wherever he wants, and tell me that he forgives me. I feel like throwing up whenever I think that he might never be with me again. I wish I wasn't such an idiot. I texted him that I would call him back tomorrow if he still wanted to talk. He responded that it would be fine. Also, regarding my friends, I'm going to try to talk to all three of them. I still plan to cut off the two who pushed me to this because the more I think about it, the more I remember little details that suggest they've never really liked my ex. My other friend, I'm going to try calling tomorrow. I really need to apologize to her too. I realize that even if there was pressure on me, this is 100% my fault. I should have taken the time to realize that my ex was nothing like they were making him out to be, and I shouldn't have discussed his fetish with them. Although I never really went into the sexual part of it and just mentioned that he thought my feet were cute, I should never have brought it up. I'm going to tell him all of this when we talk. I texted him again asking if he'd be okay meeting up in person rather than talking over the phone. I would rather meet him in person and apologize directly to him instead of doing it over the phone. He replied that he was okay with that, so I'll be heading over to see him around noon. Let me preface this next part by saying I know none of this justifies my actions at all, but I want to provide some context to this situation. I've been friends with those three individuals since high school. We have always been incredibly close, and I've confided in them about many intimate aspects of my life. We all supported each other through hard times and shared many good moments together. They were also my first truly close friends. In grade school and early high school, I was quite reserved and didn't engage much with other kids. I have other friends now, but none I trusted as deeply as them. I think many of you are right in saying that I lack assertiveness and have let them make decisions for me. Now that I reflect on it, I'm having a hard time thinking of a moment when I chose what we were doing on a particular day or where we were eating and other things like that. I was the same with my ex, always letting him decide even when he specifically asked for my opinion. I know none of that excuses my lack of courage, but that's been my life. I've already found some therapy covered by my insurance, and I'm going to call one to schedule an appointment. After reading a lot of these comments, I'm starting to get more anxious at the thought of him taking me back and me hurting him badly again in some way. I don't know if I should tell him any of this, but I'm jotting down some notes to keep my thoughts organized for what I'm going to say to him. First, I'm going to apologize to him for what I did. Even if that's the only thing I manage to say before he leaves, I'm going to tell him how incredibly sorry I am and that I will respect whatever he decides, even if that means I never see him again. Thank you for the comments. I know I'm not a perfect individual, but I'm striving to improve. If he gives me another chance, I'll strive to become someone worthy of being with him. I'll likely post an update later if any developments occur. Before I begin, I don't want anything in this update to be seen as me absolving myself of guilt or responsibility. I recognize that I messed up, and the blame is entirely mine. I'm not trying to lessen that or what I did. We decided to meet at a park situated roughly between our places. I got there a few minutes before he did and felt extremely anxious when I saw him approaching. I felt like crying but held it back. I didn't want to give him any reason to think I was trying to manipulate him. It got tougher when he hugged me, but I managed to keep my composure. He asked how I was doing, and I honestly told him that I was a mess. I asked him the same, and he said he was okay, but had that same sorrowful expression from the last time I saw him. I asked if I could tell him something before we discussed anything else and took out the apology I had written in my notes. I told him I was sorry for everything. I was sorry for making him feel unsafe around me. I was sorry for ever implying that he was a pervert. I was sorry for betraying his trust and sharing details about our sex life with others. I was sorry for not communicating with him. I was sorry for not defending him. I was sorry for not standing up for myself and allowing my opinion of him to be influenced by anyone other than the two of us. I